What would it take to break a man who has spent his life deciding the fate of others? A man who holds the power to send people to prison to determine their freedom. Could it be that even the coldest of judges might one day feel the weight of their own decisions? The judge has ruled over this town for decades. His name is synonymous with power, authority, and the law. But beneath his ironclad exterior, something darker stirs. For years, he has made decisions not out of justice, but out of self-interest, bribery, and corruption. His reputation once seemed untouchable, but today, something will shake the very foundation of his world. This young man before the judge is accused of a crime many would consider petty. He stole food. But to him, it was a matter of survival, of feeding his hungry family. The judge, he sees only the crime. No compassion, no understanding, only justice, as he defines it. Please, Your Honor, I beg of you. I only took the food because my family hasn't eaten in days. My little sister, she's sick. She needs medicine, food, something. Anything, please. I'm not a thief. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I just needed to feed them. Please, understand. The young man's plea hangs in the air, the courtroom falling into an almost unbearable silence. For a moment, it seems like the judge might soften, might show even a hint of compassion. But that moment never comes. Instead, the judge's gaze hardens, his eyes calculating. He doesn't see the desperation in the young man's voice. He sees an opportunity to make an example, to assert his control. The law, for him, has always been a tool to maintain power, not a means of delivering true justice. Enough, you've made your choice. The law is clear, and the law will be followed. No excuse justifies theft. You will be punished for your actions, and mercy is not for criminals like you. There's no compassion in his words, no understanding. The judge doesn't care about the circumstances, about the hungry family or the desperate situation. All that matters is enforcing the law on his terms. His decision is not based on fairness, but on his own skewed sense of order and control. Just like that, the young man's plea is silenced. His voice, once filled with desperation, now swallowed by the relentless machinery of the law. And the judge, he never looked back. Days pass, and the judge returns to his courtroom, where he continues to hand down verdicts without a second thought. But something unexpected happens. One day, a young woman, desperate and tearful, stands before him. She pleads for mercy, claiming her husband is falsely accused, framed by a powerful rival. The evidence seems flimsy, but the judge, blinded by his greed and corruption, dismisses her words without a second thought. Please, Your Honor, I swear to you, my husband is innocent. He was framed by a rival who has more money and power than we could ever dream of. The evidence against him, it's a lie. The woman insists that the evidence against her husband was fabricated. She swears to the judge that he is innocent. But instead of seeing a woman desperate to protect her family, the judge sees only a chance to benefit. He takes bribes, favors the wealthy, and lets his greed guide his decisions. Without a care for truth, he rules against her, condemning her husband to a long prison sentence. Little did the judge know, this ruling would come back to haunt him. That very night, the woman's husband, an influential and wealthy man, uses his connections to expose the judge's decision as corrupt, accusing him of favoring one side for personal gain. Word spreads quickly, and soon, rumors of the judge's biased decisions and questionable motives begin to surface. Once revered for his integrity, the judge now finds himself trapped in a storm of scandal. His once unassailable reputation begins to crumble, as more and more cases from his past are scrutinized. Former defendants speak out, claiming they were victims of unfair rulings, and that money had always spoken louder than truth in the judge's courtroom. The pressure mounts, and the walls begin to close in around him. As the allegations mount, the judge's every decision is now questioned. His credibility is shattered, and soon he finds himself no longer presiding over cases, but instead fighting to save his career. The very law he once upheld with pride now seems to betray him. The judge's world, once full of power and certainty, is now slipping through his fingers. The foundation he built with corruption is beginning to crumble. And then, one day, when he least expects it, he encounters a familiar face. But this time, his demeanor is different. His eyes are not calm, nor are they filled with understanding. No, this time, there is anger in his gaze, deep, seething anger. The judge feels a chill in the air. As the young man approaches, the judge can feel the weight of his past mistakes pressing down on him. But the boy does not speak. He simply stares at him, stares with a fury that no words could capture. The judge begins to feel the walls of his self-made prison closing in. What could he say to this boy? What could he say to the man he wronged? Finally, the young man speaks, his voice laced with bitterness. So, here you are, the great judge, the man who ruined my life. His words cut through the silence, sharp and unforgiving. The judge flinches as the boy's anger hits him like a physical blow. You thought you could crush me, didn't you? You thought your little judgment would be the end of me. But look at me now. I'm still here standing before you, and you, judge, you've lost everything. You've lost your power, your reputation, your so-called honor. The judge's breath becomes shallow. He opens his mouth, but the words escape him. How could he apologize for what he had done? How could he make amends for the life he had destroyed? The young man's words were like daggers, each one piercing deeper into his soul. You know what? You can keep your guilt. You don't even know what happened after you sentenced me. My sister, my little sister, she didn't survive the hunger. While I was locked away in that cell, she was starving. You took her away from me, and now, after everything, you're the one asking for forgiveness. How dare you? You've ruined everything, and there's no way to fix it. The boy turns away with a final glance over his shoulder. The judge watches him go, his heart heavy with the knowledge that there is no redemption, no way to undo the damage he has caused. The anger in the young man's eyes burns into his memory, a permanent reminder of the consequences of his decisions. And so, the judge is left alone. His guilt, once a heavy burden, now a chain that will never loosen. The boy has walked away, and with him, any hope for forgiveness or redemption. The judge's punishment is not one of imprisonment, but one of eternal regret. A reminder that even justice can be blind to humanity. The boy's anger has left its mark on the judge. The words he spoke still ring in the judge's ears, louder than any gavel could strike. The weight of his decision presses on him, but it's not the weight of justice, it's the burden of corruption and the betrayal of his own oath. The truth is undeniable. The worst punishment wasn't given to the one who committed the crime, but to the one who wore the robe of justice while manipulating the law for personal gain. Do you think the judge's fate was deserved? Was there a chance for redemption he never sought, a mercy he never extended? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories.